Can I give you a copy?
No, I have.
Or just, in, does it? Okay.
Let him read it.
Okay.
Replace the word "and" with the red "will." Replace the word. You replace the word "and" with the word "will."
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I may have dozed off at this point, Alan. I'm sorry. No, but the importance will increase real estate base in downtown.
One base code says "and enhance." Will enhance.
Okay.
Got it.
Will enhance the full future. Okay. The presidents include the importance of urban to rural transact, the importance of the increased real estate base in downtown, and the fact that improvements to the Park Street corridor, I'd like to change the word has to have
Yeah, I
been
made
discussed.
that change.
Thank you, as a priority for 30 years in the master plan. Yeah, as I said, I just told you, I didn't get to these till this afternoon. Usually I send you my edits and comments, and I apologize. On the next line, it says there, I believe it intends to say, the board held a discussion on the presentation. It says there, the held.
Oh,
I'd like to change that to the board held a discussion, if possible.
yes, sure can.
Two down, Ms. Ann Houston asked if Park Street was a town road.
Or a state road, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. The marvels of autocorrect.
It's not really autocorrect, it's the marvel of my mind thinking faster, and
Yeah.
the amount of coffee I probably drank that
That's
day.
perfectly fine, thank you. Next page, third one down, Vice Chairman Tilson asked Mr. Archambault to prepare the notices needed. I'd like to be able to tell Mark what to do all the time, but I have to ask. Thanks. Nothing of real substance, but I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I think faster than I can text.
It's okay. Anybody have anything else?
Not on this one.
Accept a motion to approve with those changes.
I make a motion that we approve the April 9th, 2019 Air Planning Board meeting minutes with the changes proposed and discussed today.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Moving on, please, to the minutes of the April 23rd,
Now,
2019.
I have a question. If we look at page 3, in the second paragraph under Town Planner Update, it says, Mr. Archambault stated that a site plan amendment has been requested for 41 East Main Street. Mr. Archambault stated that the board approved the original site plan back in, it says 2017 here, but I thought it was the whole issue was that it was way, way, way back. Am I wrong? No, it was 2017?
If I may,
Site plan.
Yeah, please.
if I may, this started in 2007?
Yeah, the whole property goes back further, but the most recent site plan approval.
It was
Was
2017.
2017,
I just wanted to
yeah.
clarify.
July.
Okay,
No,
that's
it was-
fine.
That's a really good question, but what's confusing
I
is
just wanna make sure it's correct.
I believe the proponent first came before the town in 2007 with an ID on that property.
Yeah, and it had to go to approval with the Board of Health at the time for aquifer before it came to the Board of Health. So it's been discussed, for the planning board, it's been discussed for several years, but the planning board issued their original site plan approval in 2017 with an amendment in 2018. Yeah.
This may outlive us.
Yeah.
Farther up on the page,
Should we have taken a motion to approve the minutes before we make the changes to the minutes for that date?
a motion to discuss the minutes.
Discuss the minutes, whatever we have.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I may have. Thank gosh. I did.
Hi. I apologize.
Doesn't matter because
Okay.
Maybe.
We're all, accept the motion to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the April 23rd Air Planning Board meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is second. Any comments? We'll back up to Mr. Kranz's comment, and I have one also. Again, it's just probably word choice. Again, on page 3. Second paragraph, Mr. Monoyan stated that town council has been reviewing the proposed form-based code for the past several weeks, and there may be a need to, I think we want to add the word make some minor modifications, or add. Farther down I ended up astray on the last line. Downtown Business TV with form-based code FBC throughout the entire zoning bylaw may cause confusion at town meeting. Council has suggested a new public hearing be open to change the zoning map and the change of the code to an overlay. Yeah, I think the of is. Thank you very much. 2 more down, Mr. Diskin stated that I think he was disappointed.
I'm sure he was.
Again, it's word choice, and thank you very much. I appreciate that. Those were the pieces I picked up on. Of course, had I read these before, I would have sent them to you and not gone through the tedium here. Any others from anybody?
No, I could be wrong, but I thought I expressed disappointment as well.
We're more than happy to add that.
You want me to add that?
Oh, I totally did too.
Yeah, I remember, I do believe I did express
So I
disappointment.
can just add a simple line of the board,
Yes, I did.
I had an opinion.
instead of saying that Mr. Diskin, the entire board. We'll just change
Let's
that.
say a majority of the board.
Majority of the board. We'll just do that.
I think that'll cover all bases without getting me in trouble.
Okay, we'll just do that. I'll just take out that it was 10 and
Thanks.
it's the majority of the board.
Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So, yep. Any further discussion on the minutes for 423? I'm assuming that the adjustments we made are acceptable to you in the motion? Great. All in favor?
Might have to make a motion to approve the changes.
We've been through this.
We've
We
been through
actually
this.
don't.
I read it.
Okay.
I'm learning a new way too.
You're supposed to restate that we are approving.
Yep.
Well, you made the motion.
Oh, I made the motion?
Yeah, please.
So now I...
It doesn't have to be you.
How do I rephrase it?
You don't just
You
say.
don't. You just-
So I make a motion that we approve the April 23rd minutes as addressed and discussed here today for the airplane board meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I'm practicing my moderator edge.
Do you want to know how that actually should have gone?
Not now.
Well, if we don't practice, we're not going to get better, but it actually was
Yeah.
just a simple distinction. If we're going to point out the does and the wasn't, can I just
Yes.
do the one thing I learned
Yeah.
in researching? We don't, hearing you say it made me realize, it's actually your job. So you made the motion originally.
Okay.
We moved to make the motion, it was seconded, we had our discussion.
Yep.
It is actually your job as chair or acting chair to then say, and this is because they're minor changes and it's not a big, we didn't change the whole motion, we just made an amendment, word changes. You then just say, so we now need to vote on the motion that was presented as amended.
Yes.
You're not making the motion, but they do say typically the chair or someone else re-voices it, but it's not a re-motion and a re-second.
Just call
So-
for the vote.
So,
It's just the call to the vote and rephrasing of the question.
so by looking at Mr. Krantz and saying, are these okay with your motion? I didn't approve. That doesn't accomplish it?
I think it did. I don't
Okay.
know, but then
We're
I
fine.
realized I said we needed to say the motion again, but that's the part we keep being redundant on.
Okay. Anyway,
Well, hey,
that's okay. Brings us to the next item on our agenda, which is a public hearing for a citizen petition article for an amendment to the Ayer zoning bylaw, section 6.2, schedule of dimensional requirements. Was there a notice?
It's the last page of your packet.
Thank you. I know you
It's a
said.
lovely color.
Oh no, you know what? I'm using the earlier.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
The lovely color. Right here.
There you go. Public hearing notice for an amendment to the Ayer zoning bylaw. Town of Ayer Planning Board public hearing notice. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 5, the Ayer Planning Board will hold a public hearing at 6:15 p.m. on Tuesday, May 7th, 2019, on a citizen's petition article for an amendment to the Ayer zoning bylaw. The citizen's petition article proposes to increase the setbacks for all structures associated with large-scale ground-mounted solar energy systems from those listed for the underlying zoning districts in Section 6.2, scheduled dimensional requirements, to 150 feet from any adjacent lot wherever such large-scale ground-mounted solar energy systems are located in or abut a residential zoning district. Section 8.5.6.4.1 of the Ayer zoning bylaw, with reference to schedule of dimensional requirements, would also need to be amended accordingly. The setbacks for such solar energy systems would remain the same where such facilities are not located in or abut residential zoning districts. The full text of the proposed citizens petition article can be found on the Town of Ayer website. Is it okay if I don't read the URL? https://www.ayer.ma.us, and paper copies can be obtained at the town clerk's office or at the Ayer Planning Department in the Ayer Town Hall during normal business hours. Yes, any comments?
I have a conflict, so I need to recuse myself.
Thank you, Mr. Diskin. So, let the record show. No, Mr. Diskin will recuse himself from discussion. Okay. Any comments from the board?
Yes, Jeff, I believe the citizen is here. Could we invite the citizen to speak to us and talk about why?
Sure.
Would that be acceptable to you? We'd love to hear from you.
Go ahead. I'm open to a lot of things, Kevin.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the board for holding this public hearing.
I'm sorry, I heard you were Kevin, and I believe we've actually met once before, but do you
have.
mind just introducing yourself
I'm
for
sorry,
me?
Kevin Horgan, 16 Madigan Lane.
Thank you, Kevin.
Town meeting last year, the town voted to adopt a solar bylaw. It was passed at town meeting, which placed restrictions on solar, small, medium, and large-scale solar projects. Any projects that were in the that were approved prior to this are protected for use. Are protected for use. They're not protected from dimensional changes. So anything that's already been approved will still move forward. In the Ayer's solar bylaw that was passed in A2 zone district, it's a prohibited use under the newly passed solar bylaw. There is a project that is being proposed, and I'm sure I'm aware of it, being challenged by the neighborhood that is going to the large-scale ground-mounted solar power plant in a residentially zoned A2 district. They're essentially, because they were prior to the bylaw, the explanation to me was like they were like churches, they could go anywhere if you didn't have any law in place. I believe the implementation of this amendment, this change, will at least protect the abutting residential neighbors from the evaluating characteristics that a large-scale power plant will have on an A1 residential or A2 residential neighborhood.
Mr. Horgan, if you don't mind, could you speak to what it is that you find most objectionable when you say devalue? You use the word devalue.
Yes.
Do you mean aesthetically? Do you mean literally the property
I
value?
mean, literally the property value.
Literally the property value?
Having abutting an A2 zone piece of property, to have a commercial power plant built on that piece of property is going to going to decrease the value of the abutting residential property.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would appreciate some clarification because I'm confused. So, under the bylaw that was voted on at town meeting, these kind of solar panel constructions would be prohibited from an A2 residential area, but this was approved before the bylaw. Is that the understanding of the facts of the matter? I
Yes.
just want clarity on it.
Correct.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
In many cases, it's very similar to currently what goes on with conservation here in town. We don't have, excuse me, similar to conservation here in town, we do not have a conservation bylaw, so Mass General Law is what is followed at the time.
And at the time, Mass General Law said there were no inhibiting factors about where they could be located?
Right, and I looked at guidance materials that were in some legal documents, and it mentioned for solar, the state considers solar allowed by right in any district unless the town, regulates it more specifically.
And this is the second solar project here in town that would fall into the same category. We affectionately refer to them as Ayer Solar 1.
Yes, that's already there.
It's already there,
It's done.
and this would be Ayer Solar 2. They look at each other across the rail trail, pretty much. Or they would look at each other if Ayer Solar 2 was ever built. At this point, it's not built. Other comments from the board? Yeah.
If you don't mind.
No,
Please
please.
do. No,
This is our
I
time.
can't, I'm
I'm
not
try-
even with my
I'm
questions.
trying
I
to
learned from your
think through
questions.
this. So, could someone speak to the consequences of a 150-foot buffer as desired by Mr. Horgan? What would be the consequences if we were to say, okay, we support this? What would those consequences be? Any reflections on that? Yes, please.
Mark Archibald, town planner. This is a rough rule of thumb, but I took a scale to the approved site plan for Ayer Solar 2. Approximately 1/4 to 1/3 of the solar panel area could be made, not possible if the 150-foot buffer were to pass a town meeting.
May I?
Yes,
For
please.
that specific property.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry, Kevin.
The other consequence is that it helps to save the value of the residential neighborhood that abuts this. And that was the intent of the bylaw that was voted by everyone at town meeting last year. So that is the intent of the bylaw, to not have this situation. This one was able to go in under the radar because this planning board, not this planning board, the prior planning board, was unable to meet with a quorum, and this project was passed constructively because the board couldn't meet in a timely manner. So the board never met on the approval. On that
That was for the
specific-
A&R,
The
the site plan
A&R.
itself. Just for clarification.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if any of the board yourself can confirm or deny or contradict Mr. Horgan's representation of the facts. That's the story that we all understand?
That was for the A&R itself, not for the site plan approval. So we never actually got to hear a presentation on the A&R plan because it was on a form of the board's meeting.
So it got the constructive
Because you got a construction approval, correct. The site plan did get the approval.
Yes. The board did approve the site plan as it was submitted.
That was before the A&R.
I just want to make a point that this is not a spot zoning request. This is beyond, the impact of this would be beyond just this one particular construction, that this would be in perpetuity, I imagine, for any kind of solar panel construction. Is that correct?
Correct, that meets these parameters.
That meets these particular
That
parameters.
either is located in by virtue of being vested, or that abuts a residential zoning district. So any large-scale solar project, wherever it is in town, if it abuts a residential lot, would have to adhere to 150-foot if this passes.
So I'm going to ask a question of the proponent because having read this, and I'm actually going to read the whole recommended amendment without the chapter information. The air zoning bylaw by replacing the text thereof in its entirety and substituting the following. 8.5.6.4.1. Large-scale ground-mounted solar energy systems shall adhere to the same setbacks as are required for principal buildings in the underlying air zoning districts. Except where located in or near residentially zoned areas, all structures in large-scale ground-mounted solar energy systems shall be set back from the lot line of an adjacent lot, which is situated in any of the residential districts by 150 feet. That's what we're discussing. It goes on to read, the setback area shall be maintained in its natural vegetated state and shall not be disturbed. And that is something that wasn't in the notice for the public hearing. And I'm going to ask the proponent a question. Are you asking us to amend the bylaw that will put this on a piece of property that is owned by another person? In other words, your amendment is asking us to approve an amendment that says not only do they need to be back 150 feet, but let's say it was a grove of trees of 70 feet high, like we have a lot in this town, that they may not touch those trees on their property.
If they're going to install large-scale ground-mounted solar, that's a residentially zoned piece of property. Yes.
So on the piece of property with a large scale
So in other words,
ground-mounted solar array will be,
it would prevent them from essentially clear-cutting a lot of land and installing solar panels on the property.
and what would be the impact of a large or a tall tree on a solar field?
It would block the sun,
It would block the sun.
depending on the direction.
So,
If the tree is north of it,
so I'm going to ask a proponent, I believe this is overreach, and I'm going to ask a proponent if he would be willing to remove that.
remove
That specifically that the setback area shall be maintained in its natural vegetated state and shall not be disturbed. That's one question. My second question is, has this been presented to an attorney for an attorney's opinion?
to my attorney, yes.
Okay. And
And yes.
the opinion of the attorney is that when this goes to the State Attorney General's office, they're not going to see this as overreach.
I'm not.
Was that question asked of your attorney?
Yes, I'm not an attorney.
Okay.
This was written with his, with his input, with his assistance. If it's a problem for this board to include that last sentence.
Well, Mr. Chair, one thing I would mention, and I looked into this earlier, the planning board needs to make, if this is going to be voted on at the May 13th town meeting next week, the planning board needs to make either a positive or a negative recommendation on the proposed warrant article as written.
I
Now,
understand that.
on the
Thank you.
floor of town meeting, there could be an amendment that modifies this. If the amendment passes by whatever the rules are for passing amendments to a proposed zoning article, if that passes, this could be adjusted. But I do not believe the planning board has the power to adjust this evening,
no.
even with the permission of the proponent.
I appreciate
I
that. Thank you.
just
I'm
wanted
just
to make
asking. I'm just asking.
Noted,
because-
and thank you for.
Yeah.
Right, just wanted to
In
clarify.
fact, depending on what the chair and Julie have to say, I think it is appropriate to hear from you, because you did write a report regarding this.
We'll get
And I would love to hear from you, Mark, about your report and your reasoning behind it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Mr. Chairman, prior to that,
Sure.
may I interject? When I originally brought this to this board, one of the questions that you asked me specifically was, are you open to discussion on this? And my answer then was yes. Up until now, a hearing or a discussion was never, nothing was held up until now, so here we are a week before town meeting. And the opportunity hadn't presented itself, so now any discussion, unfortunately, has to be done on town meeting floor.
Well, we as a board went through the process of putting a solar bylaw in place.
Yes, prior to this.
Yes, and the discussion time
I'm
for
not
the bylaw
criticizing.
was at that
I'm not
point.
criticizing.
Thank you.
All I'm-
I'm gonna, okay,
And
thank you.
I need to ask a point of clarification, because I liked that discussion, but I now am still confused. When we move forward from this moment, which version of this are we talking about?
This is the version
It
that
has
will
to
go.
be this, because this is the one that was
The
posted.
one you just read,
Yes.
or the one that was posted?
This is the one that was not completely posted.
Well,
So help me.
yes, and the fact that, I wrote the public hearing notice, and I take responsibility for not including a reference to that last sentence, but I don't think that's,
That, no, as if you read the public hearing, this was the full text
Yeah,
on
the
the
full text
proposed.
is-
right.
Okay, so
Okay.
the full text, as Jeff just read it,
Yes.
is how we're continuing the discussion tonight.
Right.
That's
When we refer to this, when we refer to the citizen petition article, that is what we're talking. Okay, that's all I need to know.
What was
I'm
submitted
still,
to the town clerk for the warrant article is what you discussed.
who's on first? Okay,
That's
cool.
why the public hearing notice doesn't always do all the details, because it becomes very costly.
Absolutely.
In your house, the letter of the
Yeah,
law.
we learned that in
When you
CPC.
just do more general, and then for full text review,
Thank you.
covers all that stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that when we are going to be asked to submit zoning articles or amendments to zoning articles, one of the things we need to do is adhere to generally accepted zoning practices in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. My next question being, and it may actually be the entree into your presentation, is what other communities in Massachusetts are currently have adopted this? Either larger setbacks than the dimensional tables that are in effect, and/or the requirement that the owner of the property may not do what they want with the property.
Mr. Chairman, one question I would have, and as far as the overreaching is concerned, I would suggest that this is far less reaching than the solar zoning bylaw that was passed, because it prohibits large-scale solar in its entirety in the zoning bylaw that was passed at town meeting last year.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate the sequencing of the events, okay? But I'm also want to be in a situation where if we pass an amendment, that it will actually become adopted by the state and we won't end up
I
back
agree.
here again, Mr.
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
Okay? So that's why we kind of have to vet this. This is what we do.
Yep.
Okay? With that said, Mark, excuse me, Mark's actually done a little bit of research about how other communities have handled this. And you want to take a minute?
Sure.
Please.
Mr. Chair, I believe that there is, in my professional planning opinion, I believe there is some merit in increasing the setback from large-scale solar facilities to residential properties.
Sorry.
When I did research on this, I first looked at the model bylaw that the state had prepared, which is the setbacks commentary. And what they recommend is what we actually did in 2018 when we adopted the solar bylaw, was to reference the underlying setbacks as applicable to any solar project. So the same setback that would apply for a house from the side lot line or any other building would also apply to this, is what we adopted. So that's why the underlying zoning setbacks are, relatively short or relatively minor compared to this. Though I did look at the surrounding towns, and what I found was that the largest setback that corresponds to the proposal is 50 feet up in Groton. Groton requires a 50-foot setback from all structures associated with large-scale solar energy systems to a residential zoning district or a lot. And, in my opinion, that's reasonable, and I think 50, even 75 feet perhaps would be in keeping with the goal of trying to increase solar energy in the state, which is a big goal of the smart growth efforts and energy efforts, and also in keeping with the rights of property owners to do such things. I just, in my professional planning opinion, I thought that 150 foot was a bit excessive, and that's why I made the recommendation as I did. You know, it's tough to say that, you know, if this passes town meeting, first of all, a positive or negative recommendation from the planning board has no bearing on how many votes it needs to pass at town meeting. It just, you know, so it's another piece of information for the public to consider when they're weighing how to vote on this. You know, but I have to look town-wide. I'm not looking at just that one project. I'm looking at town-wide, and in my professional opinion, I think 150 foot is a bit excessive when you see that the underlying zoning in this case would have been 15 feet, and Groton and other towns go up to, say, 50 feet. However, I'm sympathetic to what they're trying to do, and, you know, it's just my main issue was the 150, not the concept of increasing the setback per se. But I have to think town-wide when any such zoning amendment comes before us. So that's my report.
Judy, did you have any thoughts or observations, or questions, or opinions?
Not yet. I do, but I think you said a lot of them, Mark. This is hard.
It is.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Jeff, you go ahead.
It is hard. You know, oftentimes we are asked to actually drill down and look at how a bylaw has and how a bylaw impacts. We're doing this in other ways also at this point in time. How bylaws impact our zoning. Some people will see a bylaw as being positive, and some people will see it as being a negative. There is a town not too far east of here that has been fighting over a rail trail for over 30 years. The town next to it put a rail trail in and saw the property values along the rail trail increase at an exponential rate. And the town right next door is saying it's going to hurt our values. So part of it is empirical. I don't think we've done any look at the neighborhood that borders Ayer Solar 1, or looked at what's happened to the property values over there. It's unfortunate that we don't have data along those lines. It's difficult to see this in this light. It does impact you and your property directly. And that is, I think, probably the underlying challenging topic we're discussing.
And several of my neighbors.
And so, yes, and you, I have to ask for comments from the public, Kevin. You're in. So ultimately, yeah, it's not an easy decision to make. We are not, as Marcus said, and as we've said, we are not being asked to pass a bylaw.
Right.
We're being asked by the proponent to decide that we think this is a good or a bad idea.
Right.
Report out positive or negative on it from the board.
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, this is tough, and I want to articulate why I think this one is tough. On the one hand, I think Mr. Morgan and his neighbors have legitimate concerns and reasons to be disappointed in the process, not just the outcomes. I understand that, and I can appreciate that. At the same time, what's before us is a recommendation that just doesn't merely apply to one piece of property. It becomes, well, if town meeting were to approve it, it's part of our functioning law. And I do think that the 150 feet in this context is overreach, and the sentence as written here, and that would be discussed at town meeting about natural vegetated state, is contradictory to how a solar farm would even work in the first place. And by default almost means you can't put up a solar farm. Which is why, as stated, you know, my inclination is to recommend no, I'm afraid, at this point.
Any other comments from the board? Because I will open it to public comment.
Yeah.
Not that I see much, but go ahead.
I think the only, you've said a lot of it. you all have. But I think what I keep sitting with is to Mark's point about the 50 feet, which is the same setback as a primary structure, right? Is what you're saying here? Is that a primary structure would be set back 50 feet? When we're talking about a house or things like that.
That's actually the example from the state.
Oh, okay,
Actually,
sorry.
Our side yard setback for this district, for the A2 district, is only 15
Okay,
feet,
but,
which, yeah, is very small.
right. And I guess on that note is what I keep thinking about is my neighbors who have also had to live through what goes, what we have to follow. I'm not articulating this well, but the 50 feet seems to make more sense in terms of going with what we have to abide by for other structures and other, not, again, I know not in our town, but in what's reasonable.
Any, if those are the comments of the board, any comments from the public? Mr. Horgan, yes.
I won't keep you so long, believe me. I understand we're hung up on the 50 feet, the 100 feet, 150 feet, 1,000 feet, whatever it is. The way the town bylaws are written today, it wouldn't be there regardless of how deep the setback was. It's not permitted, it's not allowed. So the distance is somewhat irrelevant. However, if something has already been passed prior to the solar bylaw, that the town has already said they don't belong there, this is simply providing some protection for the town abutting neighbors that is consistent with what is written in the town bylaw that was passed last year.
No, sir, but due process is due process. I can't extend it to you and withhold it from others.
I'm not
And if
asking
there
you to
was-
do that. I'm just asking you to be consistent with what the town voted for at town meeting last year.
Thank you. I think we reached a point where if there's no further comments, accept the motion. And do you have a suggestion on how?
Well, my recommendation was, as written, with 150 foot, that a negative recommendation be the report of the planning board to the town meeting.
Mr. Archibald cannot make a motion. Can I turn to one of my members?
Yeah, I'm going to bite the bullet on this one. I will make the motion. I make a motion that we accept the town planner's recommendation for a negative recommendation for the warrant article as written, submitted by Mr. Kevin Horgan at 16 Madigan.
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Kevin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Maybe pause for a minute. I'm going to ask our other member to come back.
It was a good thought. It did. There was a good thing I don't know. Thank you, Kevin.
I won't keep you. That's hard.
Yeah, it is. We have a hard job sometimes.
Trust me. They don't tell you this when they try to get you to sign up.
That's true of everything.
Recruitment.
It's like having children.
No, it's not.
Master has a right to farm. Someone owns the land, if they don't have chickens, this petition goes into effect. Now you need a permit to have chickens. You know, right to farm. You're not allowed to have a cook. You must have a fish. Otherwise you have to resort to this.
Thank you for bearing with us for a moment. We're on to our next agenda item. We're going to continue the public hearing Form-based code to replace the downtown business zoning district. May I ask Alan Minoyan, the Director of Economic and Community Development for the town of Ayer, to join us. Did I get it right? Did I get your title right?
You did, sir.
Director of Economic and Community Development?
Well, actually, we do it in this, we'd say community and economic development.
Okay.
But I've been at other times where it was economic and community development, and I say, you know, you put whatever first you like. You do it all.
You have a warm spot in our heart as it is, Alan. Go ahead.
My. I'll just say, Mr. Chairman, just to report, we've had excellent interface with our legal counsel. And I know the last time I was here before you all, we were, you know, potentially looking at a different deployment approach. But I want to professionally express my appreciation to all of you, because I feel that your judgment was the correct judgment. I guess I was at a point where I was just, whichever you want, let's just, and I thank you all because, and I can tell you that my colleagues at the Form-Based Code Institute, the entire thing, the whole foundational principle is we don't overlay, we do it. So thank all of you for really, you know, working with our legal counsel and helping them, give them the comfort. So we've worked through all this now. It's going to be proposed to be deployed, not as an overlay, but as replacing the existing downtown business district. So this is all great. I know we have a public hearing scheduled for May the 28th before the planning board, of course, and we have gone through the full compatibility review with the code. With the attorneys, I won't get too deep into that wonky stuff, but just making sure that every reference to the DB downtown business zone throughout the entire air zoning bylaw has now been, and I did this myself in my office, replaced, sent to legal counsel. We've had some exchanges, tractions, all looks good. And I just sent out this afternoon the final, truly final draft with all little final elements. We also did change the what section this code will live in the air bylaw. We originally were thinking of deploying it under overlay districts and a form-based code district. It was section 8.0, I think. Right. We have now, through legal counsel, and I agree with them, we're going to deploy it in section 10.0, which is at the end, which is a special regulation. So this is good. So I went through today just changing through the whole code, the new section numbers. It sounds easy, but it's a grind. Going through.
Yeah, but guys like you love this.
Sometimes I do.
First of all, you're being too modest, Alan. My understanding is it was your conversation with the attorneys that tipped the balance.
I'd love to take credit for my ego, which I love, but actually,
And your
my opinion
and
is
your
what
will.
the action you folks took that really, made the difference.
We may have helped a little bit, but I think the fact that you're willing to take on the task is what's done. So
Can I interrupt?
yeah.
We're going to add to the love fest.
Oh, geez.
But for all the grumbling I do, I actually did ask 2 times before this, why are we talking about this again? And I think you may have heard me, Alan, but I did ask you, Mark, and you had explained that it was important for us to really understand what we're talking about and why. And as we're learning with complicated questions that get asked of us at times, I was very grateful to actually understand it. While I wasn't grateful to have gone through the learning process, you educated us as a board well, both of you, and I appreciate it.
All right, let's keep doing the love thing. And
The making of laws and sausages, guys.
We just saw an example why we need to get it right.
Exactly.
We just saw an example why, because getting it right is our best prevention of unfortunate situations. And I think that's why it is so important. I'd rather take the time now and get it right.
We care.
And
As
then,
you're right, John, what we were doing, I was doing for the sake of expediency, and that was not, generally, this was our one chance to do it. And Julie, I say to you all that I could tell that night what made me feel a sense of professional accomplishment. And I've done this, a few times with different communities and individual places. One thing became abundantly clear to me, set in my core that night. you all feel a sense of ownership with this code. I felt like we formulated it together. If nothing else, I won't say what I'm going to say, even if the thing ends up what...
No.
Guys, this is the success. You all understand it. You feel the sense of ownership, and you have an intellectual deepness of what this is a huge advancement for our community in terms of planning and development, this board. And I thank my colleague Mark Archambault as well, and Heather, for working through all that with me administratively, day by day. So,
I just want to note for the record, Alan, on top of that, that it wasn't just the planning board with ownership, that we had a charrette in this room a year ago. There were multiple sessions where people had active input, and I just want that understood, that this wasn't imposed on the outside. This form-based code emerged from the inside of this town. And I think that it's important to keep that in mind.
and to that end, we know that the special town meeting is now, June the 10th.
Yeah.
My office, we did something that I don't think has been done in the past recently, because I want to make sure again, all the folks at the town meeting, because this is a complex thing. It's the type of thing you really cannot walk in there that night and just look at the first time and really, to me, make a truly informed judgment as to whether. So what I've done is I actually I got the list from our town clerk of all of our residents that attended the last 3 town meetings. Everyone that was there at the last 3 town meetings. And what I did, I sat in my office and I wrote out every name and address. I forget how many, 200 something or whatever. And I did a promo, and we did a direct mailing to the folks, everyone that's been at town meeting, because my rationale logic is the people who have gone to town meeting are the ones that have the strongest probability of going to town meeting next.
Definitely.
It's people, there are certain people just wired, love going to town meeting. And so we did a direct mailing saying, in this room on Thursday evening, May the 16th, I'm doing what I call, let's take a good look at the form-based code.
And of course, everyone is invited to
We
that.
not only did the direct mailing, and then, out on our Facebook page now, if you look at it, there's some goofy pictures of me standing in the middle of Park Street with Heather saying, that's Photoshop, that cannot be real. I said, no, I'm actually crazy enough that I will stand out in traffic. So we're going to do that Thursday for everyone, and by the way, that's out to the public, and I really hope this room is packed, and I hope people come to really critique this thing and really challenge me. What's that? Why did we come up with that parameter? What is this T5 thing? What? I hope. Then, that's May the 16th. And then on May the 18th, Saturday, if you really want to understand the code, and you guys have all done it with me, come out on the street with me. No better way to understand what all this means. So on Saturday, May the 18th, I'm offering a walking tour of downtown Park Street, the code, 10 a.m.
Starting
people
at
that
Depot
will
Square?
say, at 10 a.m. we will meet at Depot Square. There will some people say, Alan, I can't be there Saturday, we got to take the kids to soccer, whatever. That's why I have a second tour scheduled on the same day at 2 p.m. I'm hanging out there all day. Come on that tour. There will people that will say to me, Alan, we can't do this on a Saturday. We work all weekend with our family. That's why the next day, May the 19th, Sunday, I will do offer another tour out on Park Street at 1 p.m. So I hope over the course of that week, we'll have the big public forum. Maybe I can go that Thursday, cool. I couldn't. Come to the tour on Saturday that morning or afternoon. And if you can't do that, try to come on Sunday. And I hope when we get on the floor this night, I will be in a position where no one can stand up looking me in the face saying, Alan, I don't know anything about this. Why don't you let the world know about it? And I can say, guys, we really made an effort to. So this is it. We're really looking forward to this process. And I hope again people we can critique it together. And then we roll into our special town meeting on June 10th and let democracy rule, whichever way it goes. Here we are.
Thank you, Alan. You're a busy man that weekend.
Good stuff. do a little litter cleanup while we're out there, right, John? Why not?
It all got picked up last week.
That's right. That's right. I'm sure there are no more nip bogs on the street.
They reproduce. They reproduce. It's amazing. It's amazing. I had to explain to a person not from this country what a nip was, a nip bottle was, and why they were on the side of the road. And the person asked the question, but it doesn't make economic sense to buy them in such small portions. Aha!
Drink one between your job and the house.
Yeah,
Outside the window with electric light.
That's right. Yep.
I'll tell you all about it. I worked at a package store for 4 years in Lowell College.
boy.
I'll tell you all about the nip boards.
Okay. Are we at the point are we done with the continued public hearing? Do we need to close the continued? Yes, Mr. Archambault.
I talked to town council about this, and she said, since we're posting a second public hearing to reflect the fact that the form-based code will not be an overlay, but will be a street district, and we're doing, other things about the code for the May 28th hearing, the board is an option. We could either close the existing hearing now and just take it up on May 28th, or you could keep it open, no harm, no foul, keep the existing one open. I don't think it really matters.
I don't either.
Let's keep it open.
Fine. I think, my intuition tells me that's the safest point.
Okay, great.
Because when we go to the AG's office with all the paperwork about how we did the process, we can say the first hearing was kept open until we opened the second hearing.
So what you're proposing that when we come in the night of the second hearing, that we close?
We close the open hearing and then we open the new
We
hearing.
continue it, and then we close it.
Yes, continue and then close.
So are we
think
going
that's
to get the
safer.
final copies of everything changed to the 10 and this list and so forth?
Yes, and I did get
Before we
forward that.
close the meeting, we should probably.
Right,
Yes.
we didn't print that out.
Yeah, I printed a couple because it's 26 pages. I thought Alan has sent it to everybody. And they just sent it to myself.
Okay.
But
Well,
I have one.
we could, we can email it to everybody and print it for the next meeting, which is next week.
Yeah, my one suggestion with continuing the public hearing, because you're going to wait till the 28th, maybe continue this until the 28th, so it's not on the agenda for the 28th.
Next time. That
Good.
sounds lovely.
Right, yes.
So I'd accept a
You're only
motion,
keeping it open
I'd
for
accept a
that one.
motion to continue the public hearing for the proposed form-based code to replace the downtown business zoning district to the meeting on May 28th.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. There's a moderator in my future somewhere. Town planner,
One last
thanks,
instance
Alan.
of interest, the town of Littleton is now doing a form-based.
Yeah, did you connect with the person who was here
Copycat.
from Littleton? Did she reach out to you again?
Yes, she was at my presentation a year ago. I think I did a good job at getting these guys turned on to it. That's right. But I just want to say, they're going to have their kickoff community session on, I think it's May the 23rd that evening. And I'm going to be there, and it just might be interesting, to see. They're doing it, they have 4 consulting firms doing it all with a team of doing it together. I do it alone.
I'd be interested to
How
know
we
what
rolling here.
I'd be interested to know what section of Littleton that's going to be.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
It's going to be on Littleton Common.
Bottom of page 9.
That's a
You got that?
severability clause, which we discussed at the last meeting. No
Oh, sorry. So we already did all these?
no baby in the bathwater. In other words, you can't throw the whole thing out
I'm
because
with you.
of
No, yeah.
on severability. Okay. Great.
Yep, so I would request of the board, if you're fine with these, that, a motion to endorse the changes is read into the record at the May 7th planning board meeting, to reiterate that for the town meeting positive recommendation.
Okay, so I make a motion that we endorse.
Week, and she has not got back to me, so, yeah, this is it.
Because this process, we're drifting into this process of continuing changes all the way to the town meeting. And we want to be solid
Yes.
a week or two before the town.
I think,
Yes.
yeah.
No, I understand, and that's why when I saw that she had an additional comment, I was like, you had this version for 2 months, because this is not something that I just did.
Of course. I'd like to make a recommendation, if we may, that we're unwilling to look at any additional comments until after this goes to town meeting.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your input, but unless it's of great substance, substantial change.
Which it should.
It should be at this
Yes,
point.
exactly.
At some point, you gotta fish or cut bait. Yeah, I think we've got a pretty solid place to start. Similar to the solar bylaw, we've had our first discussion about it. In practice, the solar bylaw may become an issue also. We'll have to deal with it. These things change over time. But I'd like to go into the meeting saying, this has been solid since May 7th, we're ready to
Right,
go.
yeah.
If we may.
This doesn't affect, this doesn't affect your presentation at all.
Oh, no,
All the
nothing.
reviews you've done, just
Correct.
nothing has happened, so
No, yeah,
you're on the same page with the
correct. Yeah,
presentation.
the table of uses and the procedures and the permitting process, nothing changes in regards to those significant issues.
Fantastic, thank you. Do you have other announcements?
Yes, I do. And Heather has a complete list of...
We have to vote, we have to finish the vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor of it? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Thank you very much, Heather.
You're welcome. So just so you guys know what's coming up in the next few weeks, we have quite a few items coming up through the agenda for the next 3 meetings, including next week. So next week, we have an A&R for 2 lots over on Marshall Street, which is actually off of Harvard Road. Just taking 1 lot and splitting it into 2. So that's it. And the revised plans that include that 902 or 8 square feet on West Main Street, 41 West Main?
Yes.
East Main Street, thank you. The Board of Health met on that last night. They saw that it was a minor change. So it's going to go to the planning board as
Control
say.
the aquifer at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, so they still, in the bylaw, they still need to advise the planning board on any case that requires an aquifer permit. So that's what
It's
they
a
did.
1% up and 1% down. So it's a minor, they're seeing it as a minor change, it's not affecting anything. And then on the 28th, we have the form-based code public hearing along with the treatment plant site plan review for the treatment plant on Barnum Road, DPW, and then we have a subdivision for the 11th of June. End of subdivision.
The subdivision.
That's so
Littleton Road.
Littleton Road, the one that we, Littleton. Yep.
So we have a very busy
Actually,
next few weeks, plus 2 town meetings in there, too. 2 of those.
Multiple time meetings are in there.
Right.
We also, if I'm not mistaken, will the proponent for shopping safety coming to us?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
that's right.
great. So,
Yes.
I forgot, thank you. I did forget that one. I wrote it on the list.
go ahead and
I
announce it.
could describe that
Please do.
briefly. I was contacted by one of the agents for Paul D. Geronimo Properties, and they received site plan approval in August of 2017 for 4 additional retail outlets or units at the Shop and Save property, just 5,000 square feet of area. A standalone coffee shop, donut shop with a drive-through, and a 7,000 square foot auto parts store. Right. They haven't started construction or anything, and they sent us a cover letter, which I think,
Yeah, I'll have it for the next meeting. I just sent it out to you guys. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
stating that, for various reasons, they weren't able to complete this within time. It's actually 2 years. You have to start construction within 2 years of receiving site plan review to continue being protected. So the 2 years isn't up until August 28, 2019, but they're requesting to come before the planning board next week in order to just get a formal extension of the site plan approval.
That's on next week's agenda.
Yes.
Next time's agenda, not next week.
No, next week.
Yes,
It
next
is
week's
next
This
agenda.
is a special meeting, so next week's the regular scheduled meeting, so it'll be next week.
Yeah,
This is a special.
right. Yep, so, yeah, I'll get out a small staff report on that as well as the A&R.
Yes, and when I made the suggestion to ask, the engineer, Steve Mulaney, asked if anyone needed to be here for that, and I suggested that they do, since the majority of our board is new, since it's been approved.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. And I am more
Because I
than,
think you're the only one that was on the board
and
when
I am more than willing not to take the time now. If you all want to talk about it afterwards, I know we've discussed, some of us have discussed it already.
If you actually want to watch, I think it's one of the meetings in July of 2017.
Yeah.
on
They're hard to know
Tax
in
Rate
person.
website. You can see the presentation.
Inside the head voice. Yeah, no, and
The
it's,
only meeting in July, or the second meeting in July, was that presentation. July 2017.
It's on the website?
Yeah, it's the town of Ayer, you know, make the planning board page, under videos, it's, I can't remember which meeting in July it was, but it was July of 2017, and you can watch that presentation. Okay, and you can get an idea of what was done, actually, it's going to be the same kind of approval, but it's not going to be what it looks like now,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
and I'm happy to touch the tops of the waves with you if you want quickly before you invest the hour and a half
Oh, you can
of
just skip
listening,
through the
of listening to me talk on TV, among other people. Other announcements?
I think that's it. So,
On that, do you get an electronic version of that question?
Of that plan, that was before we required.
No. The request for the change, which was the 900, so.
No, I have to get that from the informant Ross.
oh, for 41 East Main.
41 East
Yeah,
Main,
because
yeah. I have
you're
copies.
losing 903 square feet that was not in the title. So that affects the numbers a little bit for the aquifer
So we
district.
didn't get that electronically, so he couldn't send it out to us as well.
No, but we can get that.
We can, yeah, we will send that with our staff report.
Yeah, I can ask.
Did we ever
if-
ascertain who owns that property?
That 903 square feet,
Yeah.
apparently no one. So I
It
think
was,
the
it's
town.
considered a deed discrepancy,
Yeah.
where one person measured this way, and the way it was described to us last
Yeah.
night. One, the condos measured this way, they all measured this way, and so at some point,
The
one of them
reference.
they
Yeah.
didn't add the extra 20 feet across.
Okay.
So one says 120, one says 140, so it's
Oh,
like that.
I see.
Because there's discrepancy between the two deeds, so it ends up being nobody owns it.
The town does. It's landlocked, correct?
Yes.
It's landlocked between two
Right.
lots.
In fact, Ruth is in a butter.
Ruth isn't involved, yeah. She went downstairs and slept.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I have. We got everything for next week, right? We got
Yes, I have
the
everything.
extension,
Yeah,
we
I have
got
the extension,
41
and I'll
East
send
Main.
that letter out if anyone wants to see the plans.
Yeah.
For that site plan original thing, I have it, I can do my best to scan stuff in for that site plan for 22 Fitchburg Road. Same thing, the 41 East Main is oddly enough on that same meeting, so if you have any questions on what happened for the 41 East Main, it's the same meeting as Fitchburg Road. So you can just watch the whole thing and get all caught up.
We used to get a lot done.
Yeah, that meeting was only like an hour and a half long, and it had about 3 site plan approvals on, 3 or 4.
We had a lot going on then. But we also didn't dive quite as deep in many other aspects along the way. So, okay. Without any more, go ahead, Mr. Diskin.
I'm done.
New business.
New business.
It's really old business. The subdivision regulations.
Yes.
So we completed our little mini committee of Mr. Ashenville, Mr. Biscuit, Mr. Shelwick, completed a set of subdivision regulations. That was 2 months ago, a couple of months ago.
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
So there's been a lot of stuff going on, so I haven't really brought this up, but I was hoping that we could get to the board for and have the meeting we have to have, so we can get that done. The reason I was hoping it would get done was before we got another subdivision plan in.
Me too.
but that didn't happen.
I want a new application on the books
Right.
too.
So that didn't happen. So we'll have to take that subdivision, just reminding the board that the subdivision that came in, which is going to be an OSRD, has this subsection to it, which is our original subdivision regulations. So.
What's
those-
the district it's going into?
It's going to need to,
Our favorite.
everything's A2.
I
It's
don't
a
know
lot
when
of
new
lots of-
construction dates, so I rarely write anyone on
Yeah.
any of those.
Well, and that's where the dimension, that's where the denominator is the issue.
I have an update on the process too there. We wanted it to be reviewed by the DPW Superintendent Mark Wetzel, because
Yes.
he's the ultimate authority on the technical aspects that he'll have to comment on. So he's been flat out with PFAS and everything else, but Dan got a commitment out of him to review those by the end of the 3rd week of this month.
Okay.
So that he can get his comments back to us and we can expedite it as quickly as possible. I know it took, we spent, twice a month meeting on it
Yeah.
for a few months, and we got a draft put together, and
I just think we should, it's getting to the point where I think we should just schedule a meeting every weeknight evening, Monday through Thursday for the month of June.
no, but we'll,
No one has a sense of humor at this table right now. Okay.
Well, I'm here
yeah, we'll try to
again.
get the
Thanks.
subdivision regs finished as quickly as possible. You bring a good point.
Yeah.
It's language for a bit.
Anything else on your docket? I've got one thing before I get in. You all are aware that we're working on a zoning map.
Oh, yeah.
Quick update.
Yes, Mr. Diskin brought to my attention that there were some aspects of the map that need to be finalized to be in full compliance with the description in the bylaw. One is we need a signature block. The other is we need to make sure that one of the zone twos of one of the town wells is adequately, or accurately, I should say, depicted.
That's the aquifer.
The aquifer-
Overlay.
Yes, the aquifer
Okay.
overlay district.
And you're working with Mark Wetzel from DPW on that?
Yes, yes.
Because I know Mark was concerned about
Right.
that. Thank you.
I did find in doing research that overlay district was approved and mapped in 2011. So it might not have been accurately shown on the map, but the town meeting authorized that, so
Okay.
we don't have to go to town meeting again. We just need to show it on the map and have a formal adoption by the planning board at a meeting to
Okay.
do so. So I think we will see what happens with the form-based code, because that will change the description here.
Yes.
And so,
That was good. That was going to be my question, actually, so
yes.
I didn't think that was the case. That's why
Well, actually, downtown business here, the key would change to form-based code, since it's going to be a complete.
My understanding is
so the wording will just.
the wording will change in the legend, but
Right.
the actual area as
As shown. the
As
area
shown on the
was-
map.
Yes,
and the area is also so it's
right. Yep, so what I'd like to do, and, perhaps with Ken's assistance, is to, just make sure that we capture everything that needs to be on the map before we bring it to the planning board for final adoption.
Well, thank you. Appreciate all you've done on this, honestly. It's needed to be done.
I think what the good news is, we found, and Mark just verified the 2011 approval, but the language is in the bylaw that we passed in March of 18, and other things that we found out about the map, there's really no discrepancies.
Yeah.
It's really just a question of putting the thing on and getting it signed, putting the title on it, getting it signed by the planning board, getting it enlarged.
Yes.
And providing a full-fledged copy of the clerk, and one on the wall up in the planning office, and another one in the file, maybe signed, maybe we sign three of them. There's got to be some procedure for that.
Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned, on the phone, and then having the correct electronic version.
Just have an electronic.
Right.
The electronic version will never be the official version.
Right.
My understanding, Massachusetts doesn't allow electronic. No,
Oh,
it's for reference.
This is an indication, this is kind of a throwback thing where laws refer to how you handle the map.
Yes.
As being part of a zoning
Yeah.
requirement.
Exactly.
This is something we just have to do.
I have a large scale map.
Excuse me?
I have a large map.
Right.
But
it
basically-
doesn't have, it's not really an official map. It's supposed to be the so-called official map, which is signed and everything else. And then it ties in.
We'll make it official.
That's the problem.
I don't think as far as that's concerned, Mr. County Registry of Deeds requires that all board members, when anything is recorded, send their signature to the registry so they can match it. I've never seen anything else that, so
You don't do a lot of work in land court because mine's been sent back to me. Oh, yeah, and I know the clerk by name.
So that makes me happy to know that
Yeah.
they're following that. I thought it was weird that I saw that only ever in Newcastle.
But it's
And as you
valid-
point out, things change over time.
Because they make you change your name
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, exactly. Okay, brings us to something that's been on our agenda for a long,
They
long
have to
time.
change next time.
Board reorganization.
No, I had.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did actually
I was
have
not
a question.
looking in your
Sorry.
book.
And it kind of does lend itself to the next question, but I think it's more of a direct, well, like we handled the citizen petition here tonight, and we had to talk about it and make our, whatever. Has that been done for the citizen petition that's on for the next town meeting about the 6-year term? Has there been another group that, whether it's the selectmen or something else, is there? would they have talked about it and I could potentially watch that video?
There's no citizen petition.
I'm adrift.
I
No,
believe.
she does this clarify it.
Yep,
Yeah,
so,
it's on.
so in the most recent mailing of the town meeting
two citizens
document, there's 2 citizens petitions, and the very last one, which is again gonna be well past my bedtime, is asking that we limit all, please, I'm not reading it, so it's not the direct quote, but limit people's terms to 6 years.
Selectmen only.
It didn't say that.
No, it's selectmen would make the recommendation.
Got it.
Would they, so have they, do we know if they have, or is it to me to go to them to find out what their thoughts are on this? 'Cause
That's
It would- as-
fascinating to me.
Because I would say, as someone who's learning, and this isn't for here, but I'm just, my own personal interest in it is, there's not anyone else lining up, and so I'm learning a lot, and yet, and not that I want to do this for 6 years, but
I don't know how citizen petitions work. I never had that many. Only ones I ever dealt with was zoning changes.
Well, there's a difference between, there's a huge difference between
The
the two.
zoning change.
The zoning change required what we did.
Yes.
You
Right.
must have a hearing.
well, these are my questions, so that's what I'm
That's-
asking.
It required a hearing because it's a zoning change, and because of the sequence. So there's a state law that says that any kind of potential zoning change requires the steps that we took.
All right, but it's
The second one doesn't require any steps, I don't think. It's just
It just gets to go on there.
I
and-
believe it's, yeah.
I would ask the selectmen's office, ask Carly, or ask Susan, and town clerk. I'm sure she can scout out to you on the general laws as far as these petitions go, because she's the one that has to
Thank
take
you.
and stamp them in. So
Okay.
I'm sure she could tell you where we go from there, if it needs to go anywhere.
I appreciate it.
yeah, it's good.
I've been working so hard, I haven't read the warrant yet.
Yeah.
I'd get around to it, though.
Well, in fairness, CPC has a lot at the end of the town meeting, and so I was,
I'll stick
you're
around.
giving me a little more credit than
I'll
I
stick
do.
around.
I'm struggling, we'll discuss.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I can.
So the elephant in the room is we don't have a 5th member, so let's go about board okay, citizens petition, those 2 words next to each other are hard for me to say when I'm reading.
Yes.
And reorganization is one word organization is a word I trip over every time I say it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Also, just so you know, I think Mark and I received an email from Carrie Bentley.
yes, I received a text from her today about that.
So Carrie has asked that she
knew her last
withdrawn from consideration as an alternate on our board. I know she says work has become insane and
6 years.
It's later life that you can let them.
For all the right
Who's
reasons.
going to be here in 6 years?
It's a growing business and it's growing. And so they've done a bunch of cool stuff lately.
Completely
and
makes sense.
oh yeah, no. She apologized for not emailing me today, and she texted me, and I'm like, Carrie, this is great news. I mean,
It's good for her.
I love Carrie.
Absolutely. No.
I want to spend as much time with her as possible, but getting spread too thin will have a negative impact on everything she wants to do, and that's not a good thing.
Right.
So.
Absolutely.
so I kind of dropped that on you. So what were you saying, Jeff, about the reorganization?
So when the history of it is this. I am currently an acting chair. I became the acting chair because I was vice chair, because the chairman is gone. We currently don't have a clerk. So we are not necessarily lined up with the way we're supposed to operate.
Right.
Is really what it comes down to. I think one of the things, and this is not a elect me speech, okay? One of the things we're trying to do is run the board. It's been a stated objective of mine all along is to bring planning, is to create a situation in the town of Ayer where the folks who work here, the folks who do the planning, the stuff that we're doing is looking forward and as inclusive as possible. Okay, puts me in a tough spot. A citizen's petition about a solar array. I saw it very differently when I really focused on it, and so. In all fairness, I don't think that I think the pendulum would be too far in one direction versus the other. So, with that being said, we're supposed to be organized with a chair, a vice chair, and a clerk.
So you asking for nominations?
So, we can do it any way you want. In the past, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Jeff Tillotson as chairman of the planning board.
Yeah, I second that
Foreseeable
nomination.
future.
I don't like this process, and I didn't like it the first time I've been here for it. So I would like to at least voice that I think people should want the position before we're nominating for it, because this had actually gone very badly the last time I was in the room, in my opinion. So I refrain from nominating, but I would like to ask if there's anyone interested in the role.
So, I've spoken to each.
The motion's been made and seconded.
Motion made in second. Any,
So now we're discussing.
yeah, exactly, any discussion?
Who made a motion?
Uh,
You nominated, that
Yeah.
wasn't a motion.
It's
Motion
motion.
to nominate.
He moved to nominate.
Chapter 8,000.
This is the only book I've ever been to that.
It's a valid point, just keep going.
And you
You can
know,
answer the question
So
now.
Jeff, just put it bluntly, do you want to be chair or
I'll
not?
be chair. I will continue to be chair.
No, that wasn't the question.
Do you want to be? That's what
I will, yeah.
Because as Carrie is evaluating her life fairly,
Everyone
as far
else.
as whether this is a role she can take or not take, I think it is fair of us on this board to be honest with whether these are the roles we want to take.
I would like to continue being chair
Okay?
because I think I think we're a really strong group and that there is a future. There's more to accomplish. And to be honest with you, it is a burden to be chair sometimes.
It is a burden.
That's my,
It
It's a
generates phone calls. It generates, you know, it's not a burden that, you know, as I said to Mr. Diskin on the phone the other day, and I mentioned to you the other day, I'm approaching the point in my life where I want to do what I want to do all the time. And so we'll get there. I don't know if that's a year from now.
I'll do it tonight.
I feel like my job is undone,
Okay?
to be selfish.
I appreciate the answers.
You know you're going to get an honest answer from me, so don't ask those questions on TV. But anyway,
Okay.
and I appreciate your input months ago to change that. So I'm happy to do it, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'll just explain my thinking to the board, but also to anyone watching. Is that, look, you're the point of continuity,
Fair enough.
and you have experience the other three of us just don't have yet. And if you were thinking it the other way, like, well, if you weren't chair, well, that means that one of three people who haven't been experienced would have to do it, and that could be challenging. And so what I would ask is, I hope that you would accept and welcome you as chair, and I appreciate what you've done here. And I also appreciate there's a time where it becomes burdensome. Talk to us. Let us and we'll revisit. But we need some experience.
So the role of being chair requires many things. One of the things is we've got a good planner. We've got a wealth of knowledge in Mr. Diskin. Mr. Diskin has sat on the other side of this table for most of his professional career.
Actually, I went to those site plan meetings on the shop and save.
Yep.
And the East Main Street one, because I was attending those meetings to try to figure out what I needed to know about going before the planning board.
Yeah, exactly. But Mr. Diskin's also worked in other communities professionally. I have worked with them professionally. We may not see eye to eye on how Robert's Rules works, but I have experience with that. I would thank you very much. I appreciate the nomination. But more importantly, we have a four-member board. If I can't get here, we need a vice chair. So, by the way, we have a motion on the table. We have to do it formally.
Yes,
Okay?
we do.
A motion has
Nominating,
been made and seconded. A nomination is made and seconded that I continue as chairman. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
For yourself.
I would like to nominate.
Wait, your shoe's about to drop.
I would like to nominate Julie as vice chair.
No?
If nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve. I just heard that loud and clear.
I'm very direct.
Thank you. I will withdraw
I
the
will not
nomination.
serve
I
on
will-
any
I will withdraw the,
role.
I will withdraw the
And I
nomination.
appreciate which role you chose. 'cause
I
know
will
you heard me
withdraw the
loud and
nomination.
clear the last time this happened.
I will withdraw the nomination.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you
Yes.
for your
You
consideration.
guys want to flip for it? I'll nominate Ken Diskin as vice chair.
What do you think, Ken? Lay it on us.
So my thought,
Seconded.
my thought right now is that I'd like to see the board continue with only a chair until we all get more experience. We can't do that.
Can't do that,
Okay.
because if he's not here, who runs the meeting?
That's really what it comes down to.
Well, that's how we've been running for
I
months.
understand that, and that's the
And
problem, and we
I,
need to
Someone
be-
will run.
and to speak on Heather's behalf, I approached the town about this. I
Yeah.
spoke to Robert and Carly.
Yeah.
I
Those are
asked
my
them,
questions about
I asked them to actually speak to the attorney about this.
Yeah.
Because we've been walking the line, okay? And we do need to have the seats filled.
That's fair.
And I've been approached when I'm shopping in town, I've been approached at the transfer station by town folks saying, what happened to the fifth member? And I keep saying to them, I don't know.
Which is the truth.
So we have to move to the point, and now that we have an elected board, we can fill the seats, whether it's a pleasant or not unpleasant experience.
Fair enough.
That's why we have to do it. Unfortunately, it's like deciding if your child is born in July, do they go to school this year or they wait a year? I know you don't decide that anymore.
That's right, there's
Now
a
rule.
reason they don't let you
So
decide
I would,
these things.
again, I would like to nominate Mr. Diskin as the vice chair.
I seconded it.
What do you think? Lay it-
I mean, I guess.
Because you have my
the only reason
confidence. You
I
certainly
can't
have my
do it is
confidence.
There's only a couple, 3 meetings a year that you can't make, I mean, I should be able to fill in, and get it done.
If we do every Tuesday night of the year, I'm not going to make every one of them.
Nor will I.
Well, we don't really,
Yeah, no, we
don't have control over the comings and goings of applications that are coming in before the board.
Correct.
But we do have control over the time frame.
Yes.
Yes.
So there are things that don't need to be brought as urgently as others. Now, right now, we're in an urgency. We have town meeting deadlines, we have hearing meeting deadlines, things like that.
The A&Rs are the only one, it has to be within 21 days.
But
And that's
that-
why we have to have meetings every two.
But bi-weekly meetings will accomplish that.
Bi-weekly, bi-monthly
Exactly.
meetings, yes.
Because, I mean, I'm going to take Saturday night off this week.
The board
It's a
didn't
challenging-
do that
it's a
for a
challenging
while,
week.
and they ran it issues
No
when I
problem.
first started.
Any further discussion on the nomination of Mr. Diskin being vice chair?
Didn't actually
Um,
answer.
What? You have a
Oh.
question?
I think the question was,
Did you
how do you
want-
feel?
will you serve?
Do you want to do this?
I heard what you said is yes, you'll serve.
I'll serve, yes. As vice chair.
No, I
Thank
feel
you.
good about that.
So I've got a motion and a second to make Mr. Diskin, to elect Mr. Diskin as the vice chair. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
Thank you. I would, given the comments from one of our board members a moment ago, I would like to nominate Jonathan Krantz as clerk.
Seconded.
Will you accept?
My handwriting's about the worst there is, but I would be honored, though, to...
Just so you know, the role clerk,
Yeah.
technically, in retrospect, if I'm wrong, is because you take the minutes, that is why, and you don't have to. The only thing that you're on is, if either one of them are not here, it's a board, we actually can be here for the line to run the meeting.
But physically, that
And
could
it's
never
your
happen.
job to read
You
the
get to read,
notices.
you get to read the
You get to read
notices.
the notices. And if there was
Basically, you get
ever
to say there's no
a,
quorum if we don't have a meeting.
If there was ever a meeting where we had a butter notifications, it's technically the clerk's job to verify that all the butters on the list got notified, or we had them returned back.
Oh.
Not that we ever actually did that, but they made me do that in Townsend, I was on the
So
Constitution
we can
Commission.
have that conversation about
But-
that obligation?
But also, here's not, the obligation typically works like this. The letter notifications are required to be done using certified mail or a return receipt. We actually require the proponent to bring us proof.
Yes. When I was in Townsend, I had to verify.
Yeah.
They had done
So,
during
but
the meeting, which
they'll
is
typically
fine.
walk in with a stack of green pieces of paper and the rest
Do I have to
of it.
verify that all the abutters have actually responded?
Yeah.
You have to get the list, right?
I can clue you in.
All right,
Yeah,
it's
well,
it's-
I mean, that's
it's
right.
all solvable. Look,
Let's put it this way, Jonathan, it's not
It's
going to be a
doable.
task, I'm willing to bet it's not a task you'll see often or feel overwhelmed by.
Okay. No, I thank
We
you.
do realize there was 3 pages of labels for 21 East Westford Road that we sent out 4 times.
Yeah,
So
it happens.
the answer is yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
But
It's been moved and seconded. He's accepted the nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstained? Thank you. No, I appreciate it, and I totally get it. But we have a structure we have to follow by Mass General Law.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I get to now use all the nameplates again.
Yes.
Yeah.
New business. I'm going back to new business.
Yes, I know they're paper.
Make the guy vice chair and look what happens.
Yeah, I know, they're paper.
Can
Yes.
we approach whoever is in charge?
Yes, I am in charge of that.
Okay, I'm giving you 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks, those are gonna be real plastic and not paper.
I will get the order in
Otherwise,
as soon
the
as I
chairman,
can.
the vice chairman's not coming to any more meetings.
I will get the order in as soon as I
Great,
can.
let me know ahead of time. I might be busy too. Not for
That
that
would be
reason.
like a Trump statement, I'll renege on that. Could you please get it done in 2 weeks before the
I
next
will,
one?
I will do my best to get the order in the next 2
Full-time
weeks.
professional should have
any
a
further-
real tab.
Any
Or 3
further?
weeks, I should say, because you mean.
The site plan,
We have a better way to do it.
okay, excuse me, way back.
I know, it's
The
fine. I know, I agree.
OSRD plan that's coming up.
Sorry, wait, we're still discussing the nameplates. Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, continue.
Did you have something on there, please?
I just was wondering if there's a more modern way to do these things without the added expense or the changeover, especially where we're limiting potentially. But okay.
You seem to be paying taxes in this town, I think they can afford it.
No, it was just an actual question and I was posing it, so please continue now. I just wasn't listening, Ken, I wanted to hear what you're saying.
The OSRD plan, you said we were gonna get a site plan.
We have a subdivision, yes. And Mark is
Subdivision.
still reviewing it, to be stamped in.
Our requirements for that are included by the notification, right? We do it.
Oh, yes, division of subdivision,
Yeah,
and public hearing, and
Also,
butter
site
notifications,
plan.
yes.
We also added that to site plan, so we have
Site plan is
basically butter load
notifications as well.
notification first.
Yes,
Yeah,
Those two.
everything, unless they're waived, yeah.
yeah. A butter notifications are required for definitive subdivision along with the public hearing.
Okay. Oh, and so this was what I wanted to remember, and I just got, sorry about the name.
It's okay.
You're good.
Do we, as a board, need to think about the possibility that we could be asked questions? We kind of went to this a couple meetings ago. We could be asked questions as board members on the floor of the town meeting, either on the marijuana, even Kevin's thing, I guess, I don't know what you guys think, or, of course, the form-based code. Do we, as a board, need to have some kind of a review of that potential? I don't know, talk about it, do we all feel comfortable when we understand enough about it that if we were posed a question, we could handle the question in town meeting? That's my concern.
Yeah.
Great question.
It's a really good question, and since you were not present for the discussion about the solar bylaw, if we were asked, I think I would characterize, if asked, first of all, I will speak on the floor as an individual town resident,
Okay.
unless specifically requested to speak as the chairman of the planning board. We will not be convened at the town meeting. But I would report out that upon discussion with the proponent, the decision of the board was to follow the town planner's recommendation, and that was because it. I think the issue is it's too distant from what's currently in place in
Well, I wasn't really
Massachusetts.
concerned about that. I was just in general thinking that we should be prepared for
Yeah.
questions somehow in case they come up. The reason the other thing I wanted to talk about was when we had the town meeting on the solar overlay district, we sat up on the stage, right, that night?
We were requested to sit on the stage.
You were with me up there, right?
Yes.
Sue Kennedy, the three of
Yes.
us. Jim wasn't there.
Yep.
And, Mark Romano wasn't there.
And and the reason we were convened as a planning board because we were actually asked to read an amendment.
Okay.
There was a friendly amendment that I was asked to read during the process.
So,
If that happens again, we may have to convene.
so we may have to, what I was thinking is if it comes to the form-based code, that may be a situation where we have to sit on the stage. Again, I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
I spoke with Robert, and he was going to request the planning board to sit on the stage for June 10th.
Okay.
Not next week.
No
because
one's
that's
gonna be there.
That's
for-
okay.
For June 10th, because it's all zoning.
It's all
I
it's
asked
all
that
zoning.
question.
So when it's a particular
Remember, I'm the member that just
special
asked last
case
month,
of
do
all
I even
zoning.
have to go?
Yes.
You know, the perfect example that night was.
No, I know we answered it then, so I want to stay on this.
Sorry.
No,
The reason I'm bringing it up is because the case, when we had a special meeting, we had two articles. There was the whole zoning change, and then there was the solar overlay. And we sat on this bench. And that night, I was surprised, because we were asked some questions by people who were knowledgeable, and I was a little bit surprised. So I thought it might take a little thinking and a little more preparation than just attending the meeting. But beforehand, that's all.
We will have meetings between now and then.
Okay, should we start?
So I would like, why don't we do this, if it's okay? Let's first of all put our thinking caps on and see what we're going to be asking us about.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Alan's going to get some feedback from his multiple walks and other times. So maybe we can, and I'll make it a point to give Alan a call tomorrow and say, you know, if you could just track the questions you're getting so that we have a cheat sheet, if you will, or a general understanding of what's going on. I hark back to my experience as a warrant committee member, town of Elmwood, for over a decade. We needed to be on top of every single article. Because it's a warrant, it's a spending of money. And we would convene and sit together in the front row. Some of us didn't because we're just that way. I'd like to sit with my wife and vote against her if I had a chance. Both of these articles are being brought to the town by professionals hired by the town. And I would honestly defer to a technical question to either Mark or Alan. And I think we have shown that we are in support of what they're doing and that we think this is the right thing for the town to be doing going forward. There's going to be misunderstanding. Someone's going to say, oh my gosh, we're going to be selling pot to everybody. It's going to happen. Maybe not. I mean, I was surprised that the marijuana passed as quickly as it did last time. So, but to answer your question, I think the only way we can really do research, I think, is to work with Alan and work with Mark, and because Mark's done a bunch of presentations. If there's just a quick one-page questions that you expect, topics you expect.
You guys have any concerns?
I think you're right to raise it. I think that a couple of things to factor in here. One is that in all three of these issues, we voted unanimously. So that's important because there is, I've been at town meetings and said, well, why did so, I see there was one vote nay, why? That's not going to be a player. But I think, you know, even beyond the issue of a technical question, which of course we could defer to Alan and Mark, I mean, I think it's legitimate for citizens to ask, well, why, planning board, did you support this? Or, you know, answer why questions. Why do you think this is good for this town? Why did you give a positive recommendation? And I know in my own head, I've prepared for each of those why. And the very shorthand for the marijuana is, well, it gives us greater control. You know, because by law, by Mass General law, this can come in, but by having a bylaw, we have greater say. It really comes down to that. That's a great reason why. And then the form-based code, I think, is a more complicated, more reaching. I'd say my response to it is that it gives us something inherent and intrinsic to the quality of the town and allows us to expand and build upon what we as citizens have decided we love best about Ayer and see that as a formative guide to take the best advantage of the downtown that we have, strengthen and build it, it saves money, increases revenue, and helps protect other areas. That's my response. I don't know if we want it to be all our response, but I would certainly be willing, and I think we should have a little bit of conversation about what our responses would be, because it's better to have it with each other than to get something caught on stage looking at you like this, going at, right?
One thing that other towns is that Lancaster zoning articles at the town meeting, the board itself would designate one member to answer or to chair, and then that it was never asked of the entire board. It was only asked of the chair or the planner, and that was it. So you're not sitting there going, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? It doesn't go that way, because then you're going to get these, what if you say something?
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this discussion.
And then it's just
I want to focus
great.
on how we're going to handle it.
As a board,
By knowing how we're going to handle it, we
and
get the
as a
answer.
board, what they would do is the planner would issue a report, a town meeting report on your zoning articles on how the board feels, and they would vote on that prior to town meeting. So if anyone had a question, refer to our report. And there would only be those two people that answer the questions of one person, so it's not a five-member board answering questions. They're just sitting there because they're doing the the article, it's only
It's-
one person.
It's going to be a statement, I think it probably is, but I'll just double check. Isn't there a statement made as a preliminary to the presentation about the hearings, meetings, hearings, whatever the definitions that were held by the board, and then their recommendation? Or is it printed up that way?
I'm not sure if it's printed. The board's recommendation will be in there. And certainly in my presentation, and I know in Alan's presentation, we'll go through all the public meetings,
Duly
public hearings.
held hearings with
Right.
such and
Yeah,
such a
we'll
date.
mention those. I'm not sure if that's in the warrant per se, but the planning board recommendation definitely is.
It'll just be in the planning board recommended.
But I think
Right.
that
But we
the
plan
moderator
to,
who had a touch with us could, maybe the moderator could be given an explanation of that, and after the motion, and before discussion, a market opened up that way somehow. They said,
Yeah.
these were the dates to.
right, yeah, I plan to describe, the public forum and the public hearings we held for the bylaw I was in control of, and I know Alan will be doing the same for his.
It's just
It's
a way
one of
for
the-
me to review
right.
it and think about it and
Right.
participate,
As I said, the other town that did the report, so like,
Yeah.
planning board would issue reports, so when you came in town meeting, you got your warrant, plus the planning board report on each article and how they voted and why.
That's another possibility.
Yeah,
And
actually,
then
yes,
that way,
I
no
do
one's
plan to
asking,
have.
how did you vote, why? It's in the planning board report of the zoning articles,
Like
with
recommendation.
your one or two designated
Yeah.
top.
What you're talking about is actually, again, warrant committee, finance committee experience, is the article would be there, and then you would have an italics underneath it, blah, 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 voted this way, unanimous or non-unanimous, and oftentimes is not unanimous, but in a 13-member board, it's hard to get unanimity.
Of course.
Anonymity is hard too, but unanimity is almost as difficult. And then also, they would report out from committees, like the selectmen board voted 2-1, 3-0, 1-2, things like that. Those go in there also. And there are times when town people will call out and say, who voted why? By all means, state it. Because you're in the room in dual role. We've come to an agreement around the table, but you may have come to peace with something you really didn't like. And it may be important for you to say, this was my thinking, that's perfect. This is town meeting. This is what it's about. So, yes, we want to be prepared. The other thing is we want to make sure that, and this is where we're going to rely upon you and your relationship with us, to stay on the rails. We do have the opportunity to get off the rails, and zoning can be tough. And it's not quite as emotional as school fields and things like that, but it can be tough. So, we prepare for the worst, hope for the best. But I think it's been pretty clear along the way that we've come to a unanimous way of approaching each one of these things. I think we're doing it from the standpoint of what's best for the town of Ayer as we see it, and what's best for the future. I think Alan's got the hardest road to hoe.
Do we want to
With formats.
recommend that the planner put together a little report that we can have on the table that they can give
Oh,
us the warrant?
yes, I will have.
The voices of.
Yes, I was planning just like I did for the May 18, 2018 town meeting, I had a 2-page summary of the whole bylaw. We're both going to prepare summaries for our respective bylaws that will be, you get it, handed to you when you sign that. Yep.
So as part of that, the third page might be, these are the dates that
It'll mention all the
committee
dates.
met.
Exactly.
Summarize.
Yes, right, yep.
Because being challenged on a procedural matter can derail the whole thing. And we don't want to do
Yes.
that. Anything else?
Yes, thank you for that question. And I'm just going to repeat, because I, again, was the one who asked whether I even need to be present at these meetings. I would like to, I'm reiterating that not for my own self, but as I need the rest of you to also be thinking about what questions I can't even come up with, but what I don't know. It's all new. We want more new people. We do. We need those kinds of questions, so thank you. And please think of more, because I would like to be prepared.
It's beginning to scare me how many years I've gone to town meetings in my life.
I get
was-
babysitters for them.
I was
Yay.
I was appointed. I was appointed by a caucus when I was 19 to be a town meeting in my town I was living in. And you know how long ago that was now.
When it's in the math. No.
Anything else?
No.
Hearing nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. All right.
Can't
Thank
take
you
it.
all. Thank
I
you
mean,
all.
isn't that Cadbury chocolate?